Kings without kingdoms. Welcome back to Nubian Narrator News, where we expose the fraudulence of crowns made in China and delusions sold wholesale on Instagram. Today's headline: Black men and the self-awarded royal title, King. Everywhere you turn, some dude with half a beard, ashy ankles and an overdraft is proclaiming, "I'm a king, my queen, we was kings." No, you weren't. At best, you were a peasant with good cheekbones. At worst, you're currently unemployed, tweeting from your mum's Wi-Fi while calling her empress. This "I'm a king" mantra is not empowerment. It's a delusion dressed up in Afrocentric cosplay, sprinkled with dollar store incense, and it's time we drag it into the light. The origin of the delusion. Where does this king complex even come from? It's a coping mechanism. Colonization stripped dignity. Racism strips opportunity. Capitalism strips pockets. So instead of admitting struggle, some men build castles in the air. A psychologist would call it compensatory identity inflation. Translation: you ain't got power, so you hallucinate some. No degree, no business, no stability. That's fine. Just declare yourself king of abstract concepts. You don't rule land, but you rule energy. You don't protect a community, but you protect your aura. You don't pay child support, but you support the divine feminine. Bro, please. The cosplay of royalty. Let's get specific. How do these kings present themselves? They wear a dashiki once and suddenly claim blood ties to Shaka Zulu. They light one sage stick and suddenly think they're high priest of Kemet. They skim one YouTube documentary on Egypt and start calling white people cave dwellers while forgetting they themselves haven't dwelled in a job since 2018. The crown is imaginary, but the arrogance is very real. And what kills me is the props. A gaming chair as a throne, a gold chain from Argos as regalia, a car financed at 29% APR as the royal carriage. And don't forget, a mattress on the floor with no frame, surrounded by weed ash and loose Rizla. Tell me, how you a king and you can't even command a bed frame? Your kingdom got no infrastructure? The reality check. Here's the problem. A king without accountability is just a narcissist with vocabulary. Kings in history had duties to their people, their family, their land. They built roads, defended borders, created systems of law. They ruled through sacrifice and labor, but these new kings, they rule by vibes. They crown themselves because they bought one bottle of alcohol in the club and let 4 women take pictures with it. They think sovereignty is secured by likes and retweets. Meanwhile, the actual responsibilities of manhood, neglected, raising kids, absent, financial planning, non-existent, community contribution, laughable, emotional intelligence, missing in action. And yet, still a king. A king of what? Dust mites? Bad decisions? The damage. Now let's get serious. This king delusion is not harmless, because while you're busy cosplaying royalty, you're avoiding the grind of reality. You don't become powerful by declaring it, you become powerful by building something tangible. But when young men are raised on this hollow royal fantasy, they grow up expecting women, families, and communities to bow down to titles that ain't backed by actions. So relationships suffer. Women are told, "You are my queen," but the palace is just a one-bed flat where rent's overdue. Kids grow up watching their dad preach about dynasties while struggling to dynasty shower once a week. Worse, it encourages historical lies. Not every African was a king. Some were farmers, some were soldiers, some were blacksmiths, builders, storytellers. But instead of honoring that, we rewrite history like everybody was royal. Nah. Somebody was carrying water, somebody was cooking food, and those roles are just as vital. But kingship fantasy erases the truth. We don't need everyone to be kings, we need people to be responsible. The roast uncut. Now let me stop being polite and really talk. You screaming "I'm a king" on Instagram while taking mirror selfies in a dirty bathroom. You a king but your Wi-Fi bill late. You a king but you live with your mum, your baby mum, and your side chick, and none of them respect you. You a king but your only kingdom is a WhatsApp group chat called Mandem Linkup 2020 that no one posts in anymore. Bruh, you not Mansa Musa, you not Shaka Zulu. At best, you're king of convenience store, ruler of £3 meal deals. Your sceptre is a vape pen. Your crown is a fitted cap with the sticker still on. And don't get me started on the spiritual kings, the ones talking about I rule through vibration. Nah, you just vibrate because you haven't eaten in 2 days. That's not spirituality, that's low blood sugar. Here's the bottom line: a crown don't mean nothing if the head underneath it is hollow. Black men, stop handing yourselves royal titles like discount flyers. If you want to be kings, do the kingly work. Build, protect, create, lead, sacrifice, earn respect through actions, not affirmations. Because right now, most of you all look less like rulers of kingdoms and more like jesters auditioning for TikTok. This has been Nubian Narrator News, dragging crowns off delusional heads since day one.